In a grand room filled with stars, the Galactic Council met to discuss something important. This council was made up of leaders from many different planets. They gathered around a large table, their faces serious. Today, they talked about a new discovery, something that could change everything. A scientist named Dr. Lin stood up. "We have new information about the void between universes," she said. Her voice echoed in the room. "It is a dark and dangerous place. No living creature can survive there." The council members exchanged worried looks. They had heard stories about the void. It was a space where time and rules did not work as they should. Many explorers had tried to cross it, but none had ever returned. The idea that any species could survive in such a place seemed impossible. Just then, a council member named Zarek laughed. "I've heard rumors that humans are trying to enter the void," he said. "How foolish. They think they can conquer the unknown?" The others joined in the laughter. They dismissed the thought of humans succeeding. "They are reckless," another council member said. "They are not ready for the challenges of the void." But on Earth, things were very different. In a high-tech facility, a brave crew was preparing for an incredible mission. They were getting ready to board their ship, the Voidbreaker. This was no ordinary ship. It was equipped with advanced technology designed to face the unknown dangers of the void. Captain Aria Morales stood at the helm, her heart racing with excitement. She was a strong leader and had spent years training for this moment. Her crew trusted her completely. They knew that if anyone could lead them through the void, it was Aria. "Everyone listen up," she called out as the crew gathered. "Today we make history. We are about to do what no one has ever done before. We will enter the void and prove that humanity is stronger than anyone thinks." The crew cheered, their spirits lifted. They each had their roles to play. Jake, the ship's engineer, double-checked the power systems. Maria, the navigator, studied the maps and readings. Each member of the crew felt the weight of the mission, but also the thrill of adventure. As the Voidbreaker lifted off from Earth, Aria looked out at the stars. They were beautiful and endless, a reminder of why they were taking this risk. They were going to discover new worlds and unlock the secrets of the universe. The journey to the void was filled with anticipation. The crew shared stories and laughed, trying to ease the tension. But as they approached the edge of the void, a heavy silence fell over the ship. The vast darkness loomed ahead, and the crew felt a mix of fear and determination. "Prepare for entry," Aria commanded, her voice steady. The crew quickly moved into position, knowing that they were on the brink of something monumental. As they crossed into the void, the ship shook violently. The crew gasped as bright flashes of energy danced around them. The Voidbreaker was built to withstand this, but the reality of the void was far more intense than they had imagined. "What's happening?" shouted Maria as she struggled to keep the ship steady. "Hold on!" Aria yelled, gripping the controls tightly. They were now in a realm where the normal laws of physics seemed to break down. The ship was buffeted by strange waves, and the crew fought to maintain control. The Galactic Council watched from afar, still laughing at the thought of humans attempting to conquer the void. They were unaware of the battle raging inside the Voidbreaker. Little did they know that humanity was about to prove them wrong. The crew's courage and teamwork would be put to the test. Aria felt a fire in her heart as she navigated the storm. They had come too far to turn back now. This was just the beginning of their incredible journey, and she believed they could survive the void. As they pressed deeper into the darkness, one thing was clear. They were determined to make history, and nothing would stop them. Inside the Voidbreaker, chaos erupted as the ship trembled and shook. Captain Aria Morales gripped the controls tightly, her heart racing. The crew worked frantically, trying to keep the ship intact. They had entered the void between universes, and it was unlike anything they had ever experienced. "Status report!" Aria shouted over the noise. She needed to know how her crew was holding up. Jake, the ship's engineer, shouted back, "Power levels are dropping! The cosmic storms are draining our energy." He scrambled to fix the control panel, sparks flying around him. The lights flickered, and the hum of the engines grew weaker. "Keep it together, Jake! We can't let the ship fail now!" Aria urged, her voice steady despite the fear creeping into her heart. Maria, the navigator, stared at her screens wide-eyed. "Captain, we're being pulled off course! The void is unstable!" She quickly adjusted the navigation system, trying to regain control. Outside the ship, the darkness swirled with strange colors. Bright flashes of energy shot past them, making it hard to see. The crew could feel the weight of the void pressing down on them like a heavy blanket of fear. Each moment felt like an eternity as they fought against the forces trying to pull them apart. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed through the ship. The crew gasped as alarms blared. "What was that?" Arya asked, her heart pounding. "Something hit us!" Jake yelled, trying to analyze the damage. "We've lost one of the thrusters." "Can you fix it?" Arya demanded, feeling the pressure rise. "I'll try, but it's going to take time," Jake replied, urgency in his voice. "Then we have to hold on until you can." Arya took a deep breath and focused. "Everyone, listen. We are not going to let this void defeat us. We will fight back. We are humans, and we are stronger than this." The crew nodded, rallying around her words. They worked together, each person knowing their role in this fight for survival. As the ship swayed and shook, dark shadows began to appear around them. They were strange, ghost-like creatures, feeding on the ship's energy. The crew's eyes widened in terror as the creatures drew closer. "Protect the ship!" Arya shouted. "They're feeding on our power." Maria quickly activated the ship's defense systems. Bright beams of light shot out, pushing the creatures back. "They're strong, but we can't let them take our energy," she cried, her fingers flying across the controls. "Keep firing! We need to buy Jake some time," Arya shouted, determination shining in her eyes. The crew worked as a team, focusing their fire on the dark creatures. Each blast of energy pushed them back, but the creatures kept coming. They seemed to multiply, filling the void with their eerie forms. The crew could feel their energy draining with every passing moment. "Captain, we can't hold them off much longer," Jake yelled from the engineering room. "I need more time, just a little longer," Arya urged. She could feel the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. They had come so far, and she refused to let her crew down. As the battle raged on, Arya noticed something. The creatures were reacting to their energy blasts. "They're weak against direct light," she realized. "Aim for their cores." The crew quickly adjusted their aim, firing focused beams of light at the creatures. Slowly, they began to push the dark beings back. The ship trembled less, and the crew felt a spark of hope. "We're doing it!" Maria shouted, excitement in her voice. But just as victory seemed close, a massive wave of energy slammed into the void breaker, knocking everyone off their feet. Arya struggled to regain her balance, her heart racing as she fought to control the ship. "Everyone, back to your stations!" she yelled, her voice firm. The crew scrambled to their feet, quickly getting back to work. They were tired but determined. Together, they fought back against the chaos around them, proving that humans could endure the darkest of places. Finally, after what felt like hours, the creatures began to retreat, fading into the shadows of the void. The crew let out a collective sigh of relief. They had survived the first battle, but they knew the void was far from done with them. "Status report!" Arya demanded again. "Power levels are stabilizing," Jake replied, a grin breaking through his fatigue. "I think we can move forward." "Good. We have to keep going," Arya said, her eyes shining with determination. "We have to find a way out of this void." As they pushed deeper into the unknown, the crew of the Voidbreaker knew that their fight was just beginning. They were humans, and they would survive against all odds. The crew of the Voidbreaker had just won a tough battle against the dark creatures of the void. But as they took a moment to breathe, a new danger lurked in the shadows. Captain Arya Morales knew that the void was unpredictable. They had to stay alert. "Keep your eyes open," Arya called out to her crew. "We can't let our guard down. The void is still out there, and it won't let us go easily." Jake, the ship's engineer, worked hard to restore the ship's power. "I'm doing my best, Captain," he said, wiping sweat from his brow. "But the void is draining us faster than I can fix it." Maria, the navigator, stared at her screens. "There's still no clear path out of here. We're trapped in the middle of the void." Suddenly, a loud roar echoed through the ship, shaking it violently. The crew froze, their hearts racing. "What was that?" Maria shouted, fear creeping into her voice. "I don't know, but it sounds big," Arya replied, gripping the controls tightly. "Everyone, prepare for anything." Just then, a massive shadow surged towards them from the depths of the void. It was a giant creature, unlike anything the crew had ever seen. Its body was made of swirling darkness, and its eyes glowed with a fierce light. The creature let out another roar, shaking the ship. "Brace for impact!" Arya shouted as the creature slammed into the void breaker, sending everyone tumbling to the ground. The lights flickered and alarms blared. "Captain, we're taking damage!" Jake yelled, scrambling to his feet. "We have to get out of here. We can't outrun it!" Maria cried, her eyes wide with fear. "We need a plan!" Arya took a deep breath, pushing her fear aside. We fight back! Jake, get the ship's weapons online! Maria, find a way to outsmart that creature. The crew sprang into action. Jake raced to the control panel, working quickly to activate the ship's laser cannons. Maria studied the creature, looking for its weak points. The giant beast circled the void breaker, its glowing eyes watching their every move. Ready, Captain! Jake shouted, adrenaline pumping through him. Aim for its eyes, Arya commanded. That's our best shot! With the crew's teamwork, the lasers fired at the creature. The beams of light struck its glowing eyes, causing it to roar in pain. The creature thrashed and twisted, trying to shake off the attacks. It's working, Maria exclaimed, feeling a rush of hope. Keep firing! But the creature was not ready to back down. It charged at the void breaker, slamming into the ship again. The force of the impact sent the crew flying once more. Arya fought to regain her balance, shouting for her crew to hold on. Stay strong! We can't give up now! She yelled, her voice cutting through the chaos. As the creature continued its attack, the void breaker shook violently. Jake struggled to keep the ship steady. We need to find a way to escape. I can't hold this together for much longer. Arya knew they had to make a choice. We can't let it destroy us. If we can lure it away, we might be able to find a path out of the void. With renewed determination, Arya made a plan. Jake, divert all power to the engines. We need speed. Right, Jake replied, focusing on his controls. Maria, help me with the navigation, Arya called out. We'll use the ship's speed to outmaneuver it. Together, they worked quickly, and the void breaker surged forward. The giant creature roared in anger, chasing them through the darkness. The crew could feel the tension rising as they darted through the void, dodging bursts of energy and swirling shadows. Keep moving, Arya urged, her heart racing. We can't let it catch us. As they navigated through the chaotic landscape of the void, the crew focused on their mission. They could see a faint light in the distance, a glimmer of hope. That way, Maria pointed. We need to reach that light. Full speed ahead, Arya commanded. The void breaker shot towards the light, the creature hot on their tail. With each passing moment, the distance between them and the creature shrank. The crew's fear turned into determination. They were not going to let this void defeat them. Finally, they reached the light, revealing a swirling vortex ahead. That's it? We have to go through, Arya shouted. With one last push, the crew of the void breaker entered the vortex, leaving the giant creature behind. The ship shook violently as they were pulled through the swirling colors. Arya held onto the controls tightly, guiding them through the chaos. As they emerged on the other side, the crew let out a collective sigh of relief. They had survived the void's attack, but they knew the journey was far from over. We made it, Jake shouted, a grin spreading across his face. Not yet, Arya replied, looking ahead. We still have a long way to go, but we will fight together. The crew felt a renewed sense of strength as they faced the unknown ahead. They were humans, and they would survive no matter what challenges lay in their path. Let me know if you'd like any changes or if you want to continue with the next part. As the void breaker emerged from the swirling vortex, the crew let out a collective sigh of relief. They had survived another battle in the dangerous void between universes. But Arya Morales knew they were not safe yet. The vast emptiness stretched out before them, filled with uncertainty. Status report, Arya called out, her eyes scanning the control panel. Jake, the engineer, tapped his screen. Power levels are stabilizing, but we're still low on energy. We need to find a way to recharge before we can go any further. Maria, the navigator, looked worried. I don't see any signs of nearby planets or stars. We could be stuck in the void for a long time. Just then, the ship's sensors beeped loudly. What is that? Maria asked, her eyes widening. I'm not sure, Jake replied, adjusting his readings. It seems to be a signal, but it's weak. Can you trace it? Arya asked, intrigued. Let me try, Jake said, focusing on the controls. After a few tense moments, he spoke again. I've got a lock! The signal is coming from a nearby object. What kind of object? Arya inquired. Jake squinted at the readings. It looks like a derelict ship. It's old, but it's emitting some kind of energy. Could it be a way to recharge our power? Maria asked, hope in her voice. Let's find out, Arya replied, steering the void breaker toward the signal. As they approached the mysterious ship, it came into view. It was battered and covered in space debris, drifting silently through the void. Arya felt a mix of excitement and caution. Jake, can you get a visual on it? On it! Jake said, bringing up the ship's external cameras. The image of the old vessel appeared on the screen. It was much larger than the Void Breaker, with strange markings on its hull. What kind of ship is that? Maria wondered aloud. I don't recognize it, Jake replied, scratching his head. It seems ancient, possibly from a long-lost civilization. Arya's curiosity grew. Let's see if we can board it. We might find something valuable inside. As they maneuvered alongside the derelict ship, Arya ordered, "Prepare for boarding! Everyone suit up!" The crew quickly put on their spacesuits, feeling the familiar rush of adrenaline. Once ready, they secured the Void Breaker to the side of the derelict ship and opened the airlock. With a deep breath, Arya led her crew into the unknown. The inside of the ship was dark and silent. Flickering lights barely illuminated the hallways. They moved cautiously, their footsteps echoing in the emptiness. "Stay close, everyone," Arya instructed, her voice firm. "We don't know what we might find here." As they explored the ship, they came across strange symbols on the walls. "These markings are fascinating," Maria said, examining them closely. "I think they might tell a story." "Let's keep looking," Jake urged. "We need to find the source of that energy." They continued deeper into the ship, and soon they found a large chamber. In the center stood a glowing crystal, pulsating with energy. "There it is!" Jake exclaimed, pointing at the crystal. "That's what's giving off the signal. Can we take it?" Maria asked, her eyes shining with excitement. "I think so," Arya said, stepping forward. "But we need to be careful. We don't know how it works." As Arya reached out to touch the crystal, a surge of energy flowed through her. She gasped, feeling a connection with the ship and its history. Visions of the ship's past flashed before her eyes. She saw a once great civilization, thriving and full of life, now reduced to ruins. "Captain!" Jake shouted, pulling her back. "Are you okay?" Arya shook her head, trying to clear her mind. "I'm fine. I just saw something. This ship used to belong to a powerful race. They harnessed energy from the void, but something went wrong. Can we use the crystal to recharge our ship?" Maria asked, her eyes wide with hope. "Yes, I believe we can," Arya replied, feeling a sense of urgency. "We need to get this crystal back to the Void Breaker." Carefully, they detached the crystal from its pedestal and secured it in a protective case. As they made their way back to the Void Breaker, Arya felt a sense of purpose. They had stumbled upon something extraordinary, a chance to unlock new possibilities. Once back on their ship, Jake quickly connected the crystal to the energy systems. "Let's see if this works," he said, excitement building in his voice. As the crystal powered up, a brilliant light filled the Void Breaker. Power surged through the ship, restoring systems and bringing life back to their vessel. "We did it!" Maria cheered, joy radiating from her. "Now we can explore further," Arya said, her heart swelling with pride. This discovery could change everything for humanity. With renewed strength, the crew of the Void Breaker prepared for the next leg of their journey. They were not just fighting for survival anymore. They were on the brink of something greater, and they would face whatever challenges lay ahead together. The Void Breaker was alive again. The glowing crystal pulsed with energy, filling the ship with bright light. Captain Arya Morales looked at her crew, a smile spreading across her face. They had overcome so much, and now they had a powerful new resource. "Status check," Arya called out, her voice filled with excitement. "Power levels are back to full," Jake, the engineer, reported. "We can navigate anywhere we want." Maria, the navigator, grinned. "And we have enough energy to explore further into the void. We might find more secrets out here." "Let's not waste any time," Arya replied, her eyes shining with determination. "Set a course for the next signal we can detect. We need to see what else this void holds." As the crew got to work, Arya felt a surge of hope. They had faced darkness and danger, yet they emerged stronger. The ship glided through the vast emptiness, the crystal illuminating their path. Hours turned into days as they explored the void, discovering ancient artifacts and remnants of lost civilizations. Each find added to their knowledge and fueled their excitement. Arya knew they were on the edge of a new era for humanity. One day, as they approached a large glowing nebula, Jake's voice broke through her thoughts. "Captain, I'm picking up another signal. This one is even stronger than the last." "Is it another ship?" Maria asked, her eyes wide with curiosity. "I can't tell yet," Jake replied, adjusting his sensors. "But it's emitting a huge amount of energy." "Let's check it out!" Arya commanded, her heart racing. They maneuvered closer, and soon the source of the signal came into view. It was a massive structure, floating in the nebula, surrounded by bright colors and swirling gases. "It looks like a space station," Maria exclaimed. A very advanced one, Jake added, scanning the structure. It seems to be operational, but I can't identify who built it. Let's dock and investigate, Arya decided. We need to learn more. They carefully attached the void breaker to the station's docking bay. As they stepped out of their ship, the crew felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. The air was filled with a strange hum, and the walls of the station shimmered with light. Stay close, Arya instructed, leading the way. They moved cautiously through the dimly lit corridors, marveling at the advanced technology surrounding them. Suddenly they entered a large chamber filled with holographic displays. The walls were covered in symbols similar to those on the derelict ship. "What is this place?" Maria asked, her eyes wide. "It looks like a control room," Jake replied, touching a panel. The displays flickered to life, showing star maps and data about the void. "This is incredible," Arya said, feeling a surge of inspiration. "If we can understand this technology, we can unlock the secrets of the universe." As they explored the room, a holographic figure appeared before them. It was a tall being with glowing eyes and intricate designs on its skin. The figure spoke in a melodic voice. "Welcome, travelers of the void. You have discovered the ancient station of the Celestials." "The Celestials?" Arya repeated, surprised. "Who are you?" "We were the guardians of knowledge," the figure explained. "Long ago, we harnessed the power of the void to explore the universe. But we vanished when darkness consumed us. Now you have awakened our legacy. Can you help us?" Maria asked, her voice trembling with excitement. "We want to learn and explore." The Celestial nodded. "You have proven your strength and courage. We will share our knowledge with you, but you must promise to use it wisely." Arya stepped forward. "We promise. Humanity seeks to explore and understand, not to conquer. We want to build a better future." The Celestial raised its hand, and the displays around them illuminated with information. "Then let the teachings of the void guide you. Use the energy of the crystal to power your ships and unlock the mysteries of the universe." As the holographic figure spoke, the crew absorbed the information, feeling a sense of purpose. They were not just survivors anymore, they were pioneers. They had a chance to lead humanity into a new era, one filled with exploration, knowledge, and understanding. After hours of learning, the crew thanked the Celestial for its guidance. "We will carry your legacy with us," Arya promised. As they left the station and returned to the Void Breaker, the crew felt different. They were filled with hope and determination. They were ready to take on whatever lay ahead. "Set a course for the nearest star system," Arya ordered, her voice steady. "Let's show humanity what we can achieve together." With the power of the void behind them, the crew of the Void Breaker soared into the stars, ready to embrace their new destiny. Humanity's new era had begun, and the universe awaited their exploration.